They're both British, so it could have been either of them. Like I say. No, he did WA with like a little comma and then another A. Yeah, that. I would say it, but I'm gonna commit a crime should I say it, so I will be refraining from that. Yep, Tim, that's why I let you do it, but I shan't be doing that right now. All right. Good evening and welcome to the presidential debate for the January-February term of 2026, our first term in the new year. A brief reminder to the audience that we ask for everyone to remain seated and not to interrupt the debate. Failure to abide by this might result in your removal from the premises. I am your moderator, Warguard. Right next to me is my co-moderator, Nick the Hobo.
Hello.
You'll be our designated timekeeper for tonight's debate. As the founder election committee's designated moderator, I will be upholding the rules and procedures agreed to by both candidates throughout the debate. Both candidates will be allotted 2 minutes to answer any questions provided and 1.5 minutes to respond to one another in a rebuttal. Tonight's debate will consist of several topics ranging from foreign affairs to military. These questions were provided by our community via the survey that was provided to all y'all by the FEC last weekend. If time allows, questions will be taken from the audience. I will now introduce our candidates in no particular order. Starting first, former Secretary Organized Owen 544 has most recently served as the Secretary of Homeland Security. He has also served in other executive branches, departments such as the White House staff and the Department of State. What the fuck? Hey, can we get them cuffed off the stage, please? Seriously, anyone with... So, yeah, marshals, if you could just casually get rid of them. Thank you. Oh, great. Fucking safe zone. God damn it. I don't know what to do with them. Kind of just chilling there. If there's anything we could do to... Yeah, APO, if you could just casually move, please and thank you, for not interrupt the goddamn event. That'd be great. Cool. Yeah, sit down. Thank you. All right. Apologies for that small delay. I love people. All right. Former Principal Deputy Director of National Intelligence, Agent Navarro, who most recently have served in multiple areas in our intelligence community, as well as held previous posts within the military. All right. So like I said earlier, we have 5 minutes for both introductions and closing statements. So we're going to start with Boopa, Agent Navarro, who I'm going to be calling as Boopa for this entire time because I am too lazy to fucking try saying his actual name, but because I know him as the other one. You're going to be starting with your opening statement. You have 5 minutes, and you can begin when ready.
Hello, everyone. Apologies for how I sound in advance. Currently battling a cold. But anyway, first I want to extend a genuine thank you to the Founders Election Commission for hosting this debate and Owen for participating. This has been a competitive, active, and genuinely enjoyable election. The energy, debate, and commitment shown throughout this campaign cycle are exactly what this community needs right now, and I'm grateful to everyone who's taken part. We all know this community has experienced many continuous challenges. There have been both periods of growth and stagnation, and right now we're in one of the latter, meaning that is the perfect time for change. The change I am confident we can give this group. I've been in the UN since the very beginning. I care deeply about it, and I always will, but this does not take priority over the growing concern I have about the negative impact that it's had on OSFUSA for a while now. Time and time again, energy that should have been invested internally has been redirected outwards in the hope that the UN will revive itself, but this has never worked and it's time to move on. Our priority must be ourselves, restoring momentum and ensuring our departments are active and attractive to new members. We need a moment to stop and assess, particularly within the Department of Defence, before pushing forward again on an international level. Diplomacy going forward must move away from UN-centric politics and instead become what it should always have been: active outreach, talent acquisition, and relationship building. The State Department should function as an outreach department, identifying two high potential individuals, building long-term external relationships, and fast-tracking capable outsiders into important roles. This idea carries across my entire platform. Regarding the DHS, we'll introduce large-scale national security scenarios. These will be built off the likes of multi-phase crises such as kidnappings, attacks, mass protests, and border emergencies with real consequences. These scenarios will involve criminals, law enforcement, our media, and even external groups, ensuring everyone in the community has something to do. DOJ-wise, we will introduce a formal mock trials and judicial simulation program, allowing prosecutors, attorneys, and investigators to be confident and prepared for real cases, and encourage members of the public to participate, building intrigue into that sector. As for the Marines, we will conduct a comprehensive review of structure, leadership, and activity. Career development plans such as the Officer Candidate School will be reinstated and expanded, and leadership training will be tied directly to promotions. Outreach and recruitment will also go beyond internal shouts. Command roles will be earned and retained through performance and achievements, not seat warming. The intelligence community will continue to be transparent and clear entry pathways for experienced law enforcement, and congressional support will be ensured. The White House will move away from repetitive and passive events and will approach new formats that actively involve the public. Staff will play a direct role in planning and execution of these events, making sure that everyone remains active within the White House. We will also fully support and expand the Business Registry Association as a key branch of outreach alongside the State Department. The BRA will serve as a gateway for external groups and individuals to join the community, and business-related award ceremonies will be also introduced to promote the creation and activity of new business. Crime too will be recognised for how important it really is. Criminal leaders will be involved in planning national crisis scenarios. Registered alternative accounts will also be permitted with caution, and external recruitment of criminal groups will be actively encouraged. To tie this together, the White House will establish an outreach council, bringing together leadership from C-SPAN, the BRA, Defence, State, and the Criminal Hub to coordinate external recruitment and visibility across the groups and channels beyond our own community. Finally, we're implementing a career development scheme for future leaders across all departments, new faces that must be encouraged to step up into leadership roles, or else the group will keep stagnating until its inevitable end. We want to give back, and with your support we can. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, and you can do your intro. Owen.
Thank you. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone for coming today. It's very vital in our nation's democracy that everyone in this election, one of us today, will be the next president of the United States. And although if your candidate does not win, our visions is what will push forward throughout the next term. I also want to thank the FEC for arranging this debate, as well as I'm very excited throughout this debate to tell individuals of this community of our strategic plan coming across this next term if we are elected. I also want to thank my opponent Nibiru for agreeing to a debate, and I also wish him good luck.
Okay.
Within this community, I've always believed that one thing this community has struggled with is finding new ways to get new members of this community involved. And that's something I intend to change and make one of my priorities if elected into office. I personally believe the departments lack the framework. Oh my god, is that pain coming from me? Fuck's sake. I do apologize, guys. Have the gone. Yes, I do apologize. So I want to speed on this. I personally believe departments lack the framework of laying out foundations to support new players within this community, and that's something that will change under my leadership. When it comes to the Department of State, I personally believe that leaving the UN should be a last resort kind of situation. However, I do believe a lot needs to change within the Department of State, and that's something I will change if I'm elected. One thing I will definitely bring in my new term, if I'm elected, is that new events should be established. I have made it quite clear since the start of my campaigning that a lot of events are being repeated and repeated throughout previous administrations. It gets boring for the community, it gets boring for me, and gets boring for everyone. It's time to recycle these events and establish new ones, especially when it comes to NSSEs. I think everyone is also bored of the same INOGs and SOTU. It doesn't challenge LA anymore. That's something we've got to change. One thing I'll establish under my new administration is definitely new NSCs from departments that will allow other Oswald to take place and bring a lot more activity throughout the election, the debate, bloody hell, the term. With DOJ, one of my main concerns is that there's a lack of legal enthusiasts within this community, and I do not believe that's at anyone's fault. I personally believe that one thing that's at fault is bloody hell, my speech. I want to wing this, guys. I do apologize. The DOJ currently lack the framework to support getting people involved within law. That has been very evident when it comes to the BRA as such. The head of BRA, who is obviously would be the Attorney General, has struggled to find a chief public defender, which plays a crucial role within our community. We need to change that. And if I'm elected, I have made it quite clear that I want to establish a new internship law education program to change this. It's about time we play the part and play the role of supporting new individuals getting into law within this community.
You have 1 minute.
That is fine. And finally, when it comes to DOD, the only recent activity is a lot of events within the Marine Corps. But most recently was the North Korean War. We need to change that goal. We need to look beyond that. And even if that means getting more joint aggressions beyond looking within the UN. I finish my speech. Thank you, guys.
All right. Okay, we're going to move on to the question part of our lovely debate, as that's what everyone's here for. So we're going to start with... Sorry, I have to find my notes. We're going to start with Bupa. Question being, how will you ensure that your cabinet is enacting your policies while maintaining a strong working relationship with them?
Thank you. I believe it's important that we maintain regular one-to-one meetings, continue with weekly cabinet meetings, and we'll be helping the cabinet directly with any objectives that we set, along with my own, that coincide with the platform and promises. Alongside this, we'll be setting the term into quarters. We'll be ensuring that myself and the cabinet provided deadlines each quarter to meet the goals that we're setting. And with obvious recent events, we're going to try and avoid the break in communication, and want to ensure that that is avoided by having a better relationship by speaking within direct communication platforms rather than off-site.
Okay. Oh, and same thing to you. You have 2 minutes to answer the question. Do you need me to repeat it?
No, I'm good. Thanks, Will. Well, if I'm elected as the next president, one of my within the first week, it will be directly meeting with my cabinet on making clear what my goals are for that department. I do want to continue that kind of dialogue of giving them their own freedom within the department, whilst also engaging and ensuring that the policies that I've been given a mandate on is still being followed. And one thing I will make sure is also with constant communication is also doing more checkups on the cabinet as well, just to make sure that we are making progress on our goals, as well as obviously asking for more reports on that such progress. Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna move on to our rebuttals. Bupa, do you want to rebut anything that he said?
No, all good.
Okay, Owen, same to you.
No rebuttal.
Okay, we're gonna move on to our next question. When it comes to foreign policy, what is your opinion on the United States' current position within the international community? And what is your stance on OSFUSA being an OUN? Owen, you're gonna start for this one, 2 minutes on the clock.
Thank you. Personally, I don't believe we should leave OUN. I personally believe, like all UNs, they have their kind of differences with activity. And personally, I can definitely see that the UN will revive itself. I just personally believe the UN has currently lacked the leadership to continue a long stance of activity. And one thing to make sure that happens and make sure there's actual framework to lead for a strong OUN activity is that making sure that the DOS have constant communication with the UN Secretariat, and also that members of the United States also take part and take positions within the UN to also support that activity going forward. That's basically my stance on obviously the UN, but with regards to DOS itself, I personally believe that one thing I've noticed in recent times is that DOS struggles to find diplomats, and that, like, again, it has its flaws of having a fully staffed DOS and then it doesn't. However, one thing will change if we're elected is making sure that under my term we'll have a fully staffed DOS, and that will be by implementing a fast track diplomat program that will ensure the full education
30
of support.
seconds.
No worries. The fully staffing of the education program, and making sure that obviously they get the education that needs to be the best diplomat that can be. I yield.
Okay. Bupa, same question. Do you need it repeated?
No, all good. So we've made this very clear and we're being quite open about it from the beginning. We're looking to review the position within the UN. This because of continuous failures and the expectations of us holding it together whenever it does fail. And it's countless times that that does happen, and we end up reverting back to the same issue over and over again. As I've said previously to many people, we're looking to put ourselves first. The DOS was in a state of, with the former president to having take lead and micromanage it, it was in disrepair. So we want to avoid this, and we need to put ourselves first, which again is part of our platform and promises, and we will ensure that we do that by fostering a better leadership program, as well as a diplomatic affair program where we encourage new diplomats to step into positions that cover all bases. We'll also utilize the DOS for external recruitment and also to expand on further relationships elsewhere. That's just part of our promise and what we've put in our platform previously, so we aim to stick to that.
Okay. Just for going forward, if you can say "I yield" at the end of your time, so then I know that you're done. That way I don't accidentally cut you off like I did Owen during his introduction. That would be great.
My bad.
Okay, Owen, I'm going to give you a chance to rebut anything he said.
I'm fine, thank you.
All right, Bupa.
No, all good.
I say you good? All right. Moving on to our third question. We're speeding right through this, guys. What do you believe the president's role is in regards to the intelligence community, and what are your plans regarding it specifically? Bupa, we're going to start with you.
So the president has a direct involvement in terms of oversight and ensuring that the intelligence community is operating within its core foundation. That's working alongside the DNI on an operational level. The president shouldn't be micromanaging that. It's the same along any sort of department. They should be entrusting the cabinet members are running their departments equally, with minute review to ensure that we're on target and ensuring that they're within their objective. In terms of national security, the president has the equal responsibility to ensure that that is protected throughout the US. And in terms of recent events, as proven, we're not in the position to allow people into certain servers without being scrutinized publicly. So obviously, if a president is representing that in a negative way, then it's going to impact throughout, and it's going to send echoes throughout the chain. So what we want to do is to avoid that and ensure that the IC is kept compartmentalized as it should be, but reviewed periodically to ensure that they're within that objective. I yield.
Okay. Owen, same question. Do you need me to repeat it?
No, thank you.
Very good.
Oh, may I go? Yeah. Oh, sorry. I personally believe the president's role within the IC is basically they have the joint responsibility of making sure that obviously all intelligence is obviously safeguarded. And I do agree a lot of what my opponent did say regarding when it comes to the IC and its involvement. But like I say, IC shouldn't be micromanaged at all. It's currently hard, and I haven't seen it during my time within this community. IC's already had strong and steadfast leadership, and we need to continue having that. And just to make sure that all the national security is safe within this country, and that there's no leaks and shit. But overall, the president should be involved because at the end of the day, if anything is leaked or any intelligence that we do have becomes at risk because of a leak or anything like that, the president is just as responsible for not making sure that it stays classified as the DNI. So the president is very involved when it comes to IC matters, but also
Nick,
yeah,
can you fix the...
Wales.
Thanks, Tim. Okay, you good to go? All right. Yeah, I wish we had like a barrier here or something, but we are working with what we got, and it's perfectly fine. All right. So, Boop, I'm gonna give you a chance to review anything you said, as per usual.
Nope. All good.
Owen.
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, speeding right along to a very similar question, but the community had two intelligence agency questions. This is the second one. Do you believe that the president's role within the intelligence community should be better defined? Owen, we're gonna start with you. 2 minutes on the clock, guy.
I mean, I think when you first enter the office, and when you first obviously meet whoever you select as DNI, I believe the role the president takes is quite defined when you have that first meeting. It kind of goes back as well to obviously how you're going to communicate your goals with that department throughout that as well. So personally, I believe mainly the president's role is also a lot defined with the IC when you first have that meeting to get to know obviously your DNI and obviously making sure that obviously not only that the mandate you've been elected on is being achieved, but also that boundaries are being placed so there's no overstepping. And obviously making sure IC continues forward in the right regard. I yield.
Okay. Boop, same question.
It's quite simple, really. I'm not going to say the same thing because I agree with what a lot of Owen says, but it's ultimately down to communication. President should obviously communicate equally with all their cabinet members, and the intelligence committee is equally as important as the rest of them. You define that when you enter office, so it's down to the president ultimately how involved they want to be. At the end of the day, they should be as involved as possible because it's more so important to be that involved on a national security level and be aware of what's happening when it's happening and the rest. But it's all about oversight, communication, and ensure that is quite defined. I yield.
Okay, I'm just gonna do it this way, considering you guys have been not wanting to review anything. Do either of you want to say anything else on this?
No, all
Nope.
good.
Okay. Hey, AB, can we get a box around the fucking stage? I know you're. I'm not sure if you're in the game or not, but it's just gonna make my fucking life easier, so I don't have to keep looking up. APO, I love that you're trying to fucking enforce things in the stands, though. You're doing fucking great. Anyways, we love you guys. Just yeah, don't walk up because I'm getting distracted. Fucking notes have just disappeared. All right. In regards to professionalism, how will you maintain the standards of the office of the president while still providing a fun environment for the community? Booba, you're gonna start with this. 2 minutes on the clock, Ed.
Sorry, you cut out. Can you repeat that?
Sure. In regards to professionalism, how will you maintain the standards of the office of the president while still providing a fun environment for the community?
So ultimately, a good executive order that was released by yourself, EO 92, that needs to be maintained. It's been slipped quite a few times recently, and we want to re-outline and enforce that throughout. So that wouldn't just be myself; it would be throughout the executive branch. And what that EO actually defines is all members of the executive branch, whether engaging in-game or with the public through Discord or anything relating to OSF, needs to maintain decorum and professionalism. And then, obviously, if found in violation of that, on or off duty, they'll be held accountable through appropriate channels. I yield.
Okay, Owen, same question.
Thank you. I mean, I agree what my opponent does say, but if obviously I'm elected from the first day, I'm going to make it exactly clear of the professional standards I expect under my administration. And not only this, I expect my cabinet members to also relay that message to obviously the employees of that department as well. I think for time now, from time to time, we do see some unprofessionalism in game, and it doesn't reflect well on that department at all. So we need to kind of cut that down. And so basically, it's quite clear, really. It's just communicating it from the first day and making sure that it gets enforced. I yield.
Okay, do either of you want to say anything more on this?
No, I'm good.
Owen?
I'm good.
Okay. Moving on to our next question. What is one thing that sets you apart from the rest of the candidates or in this case, your fellow candidate? And what benefits does it bring for the country as a whole? Owen, we're going to start with you.
Will you be able to repeat the question? Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, this is the only question I didn't rewrite. What is I copied and pasted this right from the Google form. What is the one thing that sets you apart from the rest of the candidates, and what benefits does it bring for the country as a whole?
I mean, a lot of my campaign has been set out to make sure that new players get that kind of, and I think that's something I've been more vocal on than my opponent. And it's basically one of the key things I've been running on is making sure that that all the departments have the resources and the framework put in place to ensure that they can get employed, they can take the chance everyone deserves within the departments. Because at the end of the day, all of us sitting here will move on from this community. As much as we love it, we do get older, and the new generation will take its place on setting an example for this community. So it's just making sure that we give them opportunities and making sure that they get the right leadership and menteeship of going forward in these departments. I think that's something I've been more vocal on, and one thing that stands out within my campaign than my opponents. I yield.
Okay. Koopa, same question.
Thank you. So, as we've stated on numerous occasions, the campaign is the main effort is towards new faces in new leadership positions and ensuring that the community goes on past this stagnant stage. We're constantly in a bit of a cycle where we're constantly recycling leadership, and at this point, it just needs to change. It's all about getting people in the right places, and with the development scheme that we want to include, I couldn't think of a better time to do it. It's at that point where it needs some sort of plan put in place, and obviously we want this to go across all departments. And yeah, that I yield.
Okay. Do either of you want to review anything?
Nah, I'm good.
No, all good.
Yeah, I figured as much. All right. Moving on to our next question. What do you think of the other candidate? What is one critique you would give, and what is one good quality you have observed? Booba, you're going to start for this one. 2 minutes on the clock.
Owen's been admirable throughout. He's been courteous, and obviously we've not had a lot to disagree on. He's not used this as a platform as hate or anything, and I can only thank him for that, because at the time when we're getting a lot of toxicity and drama, it's a nice refreshment. I yield.
Okay, Owen, same question.
Sorry. I believe one thing I would definitely say a massive positive is for Nibiru. His experience is monumental. He's been here since day one of this community. He understands it and he really cares about it. And regardless who is elected, we both care about this community. And one thing for Nibiru, this community really is something that he deeply cares about. And I admire that. He's held so many positions and he loves helping, obviously, new people within this community. And that's something I admire. I don't really have a lot to disagree on, like my opponent said. We've had a really healthy and happy election cycle, something we haven't seen in a very long time. We're giving the people of this community two great alternatives for this community, and I think that's something that's been beneficial for this community as a whole. I haven't got much to critique, but I've got loads of compliments of my opponent, as he does for me. But yeah, I yield.
Okay, do either of you want to add anything more on this?
No, just want to thank you all for your time, and obviously, whoever is the successful candidate will do our very best. Thank you.
Okay, we have a couple more questions on this, but Owen, I'm assuming you don't want anything.
I'm good. Thank
Cool.
you.
All right. Do you believe your experience is better suited for becoming president of the United States in comparison to your opponent? Owen, we are starting with you.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, when I first joined this community, I'll be honest, I wasn't a bright nut, put it that way. But as I've got to know this community a lot more, and as I've worked my way up into different positions, and I mean I've held many notable positions within this community, I understood this community a lot more. And one thing that makes me stand out is that I know what it takes to be a good leader, and that's something I want to implement across the community as a whole. And I think that'll be one of the highlights of my presidency if I'm elected, because I'm all for helping new people get involved in this community. And with my previous experiences, I have shown that I can lead not only a department, but I'm very committed at leading people. And I'll be a great leader for this community if I'm elected. I yield.
Okay, Booba, same question.
Yep. So for obvious reasons, my leadership position hasn't necessarily been public, but leadership has always been number one for me. I've always looked to push people in the same direction that I've gone, and encourage people to do the very best. What I would like to say is, even if you're not necessarily at the best start, always keep trying, because that's what makes you and defines you. Like I have been throughout. I've been defined by the people that I work with, so I just want to echo that at this point. But yeah, basically what Owen said, it's all about taking time and putting effort into the community, and I believe that I put that from the very start. I yield.
Okay. Do either of you want to say anything else in regards to that question?
No, all good.
I'm good.
Okay. All right. Now we're going to move on to taking about 2 or 3 questions from the audience, and then we're going to move on to our closing statement. So if you have a question you want to ask either of the candidates, preferably one that can be aimed at both of them, just send them into mine or Nick's DMs. I will not be looking behind me because Roblox likes to fucking tag. So if you could just fucking DM it to me because Roblox likes to tag things. So it's just easier if okay, well, what is it then if you can't fucking DM, which is fucking wild to me. I'm not gonna take that question. Anyone else have a question? Yeah, no, sit the fuck down. Sit the fuck down. Sit down. Get off my stage. Thank you. Alright, who else had a question? Okay. Have either of you ever been fired or asked to resign from any position within OSFUSA? Let's see. We had Owen go start last time, so Boopa, you're gonna start with this one.
No, not from a major position. I mean, the only position I can think of is possibly from WHMO, but that was quite a while ago now, and it was on my first time when I was WHMO, and I think it was just down to activity at the time, but that was just because I was taking up another major role with the intelligence community. But yeah, the short answer is no.
Okay, Owen?
I haven't been fired from any major position. I know there was a lot of speculation if I was fired or did I resign on my own half when I was Secretary of Homeland Security. Just to make that clear, I resigned. As SecHLS, I made that quite clear to President Teddy. However, one thing that is true, and I might as well make this public, is that Teddy asked if I could move my resignation a bit earlier to allow for new leadership to take it in place, and I had no issue with that. So my answer is no, but yeah, thank you.
Okay, do either of you want to say anything else on that? Assuming no.
I resigned on my own half in DOS as well.
Cool. All right. Like I said, if you have any questions in the audience, just DM it to me. I do have one that I'm going to ask first, and then Nick, you can go, and then we'll call it a day.
Sounds good.
All right. We're going to start with Owen on this one. How would you balance the hiring between new people and experienced people? 2 minutes on the clock. Yeah, I saw you DM me. I saw it.
What was that? Sorry, I tapped out.
How would you balance the hiring of new people within our community versus experienced people in our community?
When it comes to that, it depends on the position. Because you aren't going to hire someone who's very new into a very vital position like cabinet or sub-cabinet. There's got to be boundaries and limits to that, which I would make quite clear within, obviously, a memorandum. But I'll just be quite clear. New players will start off, obviously, at a basic level of employment. And if they keep showing to make good progress and is literally doing better than their supervisors, then absolutely they will move for higher positions. However, when it comes to experienced positions and experienced people, I'll be looking for more experienced people to lead departments, because it's very vital that we meet our mandate and we meet our goals within this term, because we've got a lot to achieve. I yield.
Okay, Boopa, same question.
Basically what Owen said, but other than that is we want to focus on mentorship. So we want to ensure that obviously the current experienced members are taking up individuals that could potentially be shortlisted in the future to take on additional roles or their current role. And we want to encourage that throughout departments and ensure that that sort of mindset's fostered throughout, rather than a sort of, this is my position, I'll be sitting there throughout. I yield.
Okay, and with that, we're going to wrap it up with Nick's question, and then we'll move on to closing statements. Thank you for everyone who was DMing. I had to filter out a few of them, because we only have time for a couple.
Yeah, so the question I have is, what does transparency mean to you? And I believe we started with Boopa last time, correct? So I believe Owen will start on this one. 2 minutes.
Transparency to me is making sure that you obviously are very engaging and making sure you're getting your message across and notifying the community of what's going on within your administration. And I personally believe that's a vital goal. And regardless who's elected, transparency is key, especially not only from the president himself, but to department leaders as well. Because if we're being elected on a mandate, the individuals who voted us expect this mandate to be delivered. And for that to happen, we've got to make sure our cabinet members are being transparent through either press conferences or press releases on the goals that are being set out within that department. And one thing I've already said, if I'm elected, is I will have bi-weekly press conferences when it comes to just notifying the public of what's going on within my administration, how we're dealing with situations, and how we're going to move forward. So that's what transparency means to me. If I'm elected and just in general, I yield.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Bopa, same question.
Pretty much the same what Owen said, but other than that is I think we need to also establish that anything that's going wrong is also outlined and echoed throughout, even like during press conferences, releases, and even departmental based, not just from the White House. We need to ensure that although our rights are being recognised for being successful, we need to also recognise what's going wrong and be extremely transparent with the public in that sense. I yield.
Okay, we're now going to move on to our closing statements. Bopa, we're going to start with you for your closing.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank everyone once again for the time that they've taken to listen, engage, and debate ideas throughout the election. The campaign's always been about restoring momentum, prioritising internal strength and new faces, and building a community that is active, outward-facing, and sustainable. And to reiterate, our focus is meaningful outreach and recruitment, engaging in role-play scenarios, stronger departments, and real career development. And these are commitments, not talking points. And obviously, if I'm elected, I'll work relentlessly to turn these plans into reality. Thank you.
Okay. Owen, good.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank my opponent again for obviously participating within this debate. This debate has allowed us to obviously this community to basically hear both of our viewpoints and our pathway to what America will be like if one of us is elected. And I do appreciate obviously the great questioning from our moderators as well. So thank you for moderating today. But to the public, thank you for listening. But one thing that is something I ask you to take on is that you have two real alternatives standing on this stage today. Two campaigns that have real policies and real goals for this community. And not like previous elections where you had one alternative, you've got more than one. So I ask every individual to take on the policies, read them over, and make sure that the vote you take onto election day is the vote you definitely want to make sure you want to cast and not to regret it later. Because I think if we look at the chaos in recent days, I think a lot of us would wish we didn't select that. We don't want that. We want renewed growth and progress to be throughout this community and be fostered throughout. But once again, I thank you all for taking your time to listen to us, and I wish everyone has a great rest of the evening. I yield.
Okay. And with that, we want to thank you all for joining us for this presidential debate. We are good to go, and thank you all for joining us. Have a great rest of your evenings. Happy holidays. Yes, now you can rush the stage. I don't give a fuck anymore. You're good to go.